Hi, it's time for another verb of the day. Today's verb is ski. Let's take a look at how this verb gets used. There are two main definitions for this verb, and I would say they're both connected or interrelated. The first definition is to travel over snow on skis, and the second definition is to take part in the sport or recreation of skiing. And in a moment, I'm going to show you a couple different types of skiing that you might hear about or see, and we'll look a little bit at the difference there. But for now, you should know that ski is a regular verb. And this might look a little funny since the verb ends with the letter I, but we are going to add another I and then ng to form the progressive, and we pronounce that ski. The past tense and participle forms of this verb are made by just adding ed. And since our base verb ends with a vowel sound, which is voiced, our ed is going to make a d sound. Skied, skied. As I promised, a little deeper explanation about ski, right? So again, there are these different forms. And when most people hear about skiing, they think of downhill skiing, right? So someone is in the mountains on a very large hill, and they will use this device to travel up to the top of it. And then they will do what this person is here. They are skiing down a hill, right? It kind of makes sense how it gets its name, right? And the objects on the connected to this person's feet, those are the skis. We'll look at that noun a little bit later. You can see the person has poles to try and help maintain their balance. Okay? A second type of skiing is cross-country skiing. Now, there might be small inclines and uphills, but it's generally a flatter surface. And something that's different about it, and you'll notice in this picture, the heel is not attached to the ski. It's just your toe. And that's something that's a little different. I've been learning how to cross-country ski recently. It's a lot of fun. It takes a lot of practice, though, especially if you're clumsy like me, but a great winter activity. And then lastly, skiing can happen in the summer as well, right? There is water skiing. And so generally, someone is being pulled by a motor boat, right, that can go kind of fast. And you can see here the person is standing up and gliding over the top of the water. You'll be happy to know I don't have any phrasal verbs or additional meanings for this verb. So that's going to allow us to move on and do a little practice in a couple different verb tenses. Today, we'll practice the simple present and the present perfect. Let's start with the simple present. Remember, we use this verb tense to talk about habits or routines. We also use it to discuss facts. And the thing to remember about the affirmative in the simple present is that if the subject is I, you, we, or they, you're just going to use the base verb. But if our subject is he, she, or it, we need to add an S to the verb. And you'll see that in the example here. He skis in Colorado every January. Okay, so I'm talking about one person's habit or their routine. And you can see I've added an S there. If I was instead maybe talking about a family, right, I would say they ski in Colorado every January. Now, if I want to make a negative simple present sentence, I'm going to use either do not in the base verb, or you might hear native speakers use the contraction don't ski, don't in the base verb, and that's used with the subjects I, you, we, and they. If our subject is he, she, or it, then we're going to use does not or doesn't in the base verb. Here's an example sentence. They don't water ski. So could be they don't enjoy it, maybe they don't know how, but it is not their habit or routine. Finally, if I want to make a yes or no question in the simple present, so I'm asking about someone's habits or their routines, I will start with either do or does, And that's going to depend on my subject, which comes next, and then the base verb. Here's an example. Do you ski in the winter? Right? Someone could answer that, yes, I do. No, I don't. Now let's take a look at the present perfect. We use this to describe an action that started in the past and it continues into the present. But we also use it to describe something that occurred at an unknown time in the past tense. And it just might not matter when it happened. To make the present perfect, we're going to use the present form of have, which is have or has, again, depending on our subject. So if our subject is I, you, we, or they, we'll use have. If our subject is he, she, or it, we'll use has. And then we're going to use the participle form of the verb. Here's an example. She has skied for over 50 years. Right? So this is an action that has started in the past. She continues this action into the present day. Now, if I want to make a negative present perfect sentence, I'm going to insert not after have or has. You may hear native speakers use the contraction form, hasn't or haven't. Here's an example. I haven't skied since my knee injury. So this is an action that has stopped at a specific point in time. And this is not a true sentence, by the way. No knee injury, just an example. Finally, if you want to make a yes or no question in the present perfect, you're going to start with have or has, then you'll have your subject, and then our participle form of the verb. Here's an example. Have you ever water skied? Right? So we're asking at any point in your life, right? And it doesn't matter, maybe, was it 6 months ago? Was it 6 years ago? It just might not matter. You'll notice here I made it a little more specific to the type of skiing, and we could do that with any of those examples I showed you earlier, right? We could say, have you ever downhill skied? Have you ever cross-country skied? That would work just fine. So now let's take a look at some related words. The first is just the noun form of our verb, so same spelling, same pronunciation. And as I sort of mentioned before, the noun ski is a pair or a piece of a pair of a long, narrow piece of hard yet flexible material. It's typically kind of turned up or pointed up at the front. And there's this fastening or binding that allows you to sort of connect your boot to the ski. And its purpose is generally to glide over snow. It could also be to glide over water. I included a few pictures here at the bottom so you could see they come in different colors, different lengths, different shapes. And that can also depend on the type of skiing you're doing. I think generally the length of the ski is a little dependent on your height as well. So, and hopefully you can see from the picture here the how it's kind of turned up in the front. So that would be the front of the ski that is lying in the snow in this picture. An example of this noun in a sentence would be, are your skis in the car? And I think that's probably more likely for you to hear the plural form skis versus just the singular ski. The last word I'm going to leave you with today is skier. This is a person who skis, right? So an example sentence with this word is, if you want to become a skier, you should probably take a lesson. And I think that's fairly good advice, especially for adults. Sometimes it's just easier for kids to pick up new things. But if you've never tried this before, it is an interesting challenge. I would encourage you to try it out. You might not like it, and that's okay. But talk to someone who has a lot of knowledge and expertise in this so that they can give you good advice, and hopefully they'll make it a more enjoyable experience for you. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a great day.